got a vocab quiz. That's right. Okay, so it's one of those aspects that we ask the same questions every day, and so if you had to describe a sponge, we said there's three main characteristics, but you could list up to five. And if that was a question in front of you right now, how many of you would bomb out? Okay, so one of the things we want you to think about is we probably have said that for how many days in a row do you think, in your opinion? Is that the first time you've heard that question? Second time? Third? Fourth? I'm thinking probably fifth at least. And it's no big deal. You're not being evaluated on, but the reason we go over that is because it's important information to know. Okay? So with that, what are some of those characteristics then? They're sessile, so they don't move. Okay, the muscular structure and skeletal structure are yes, they are characteristics. They lack them. Those are secondary ones, not primary ones, like being sessile. They got osculum. That's a primary characteristic. You want me to tell you, or you want to think of it? They're hungry. They're filter feeders. That's right. Okay, so those are your three primary characteristics. Others, as you said, they don't have a muscular system. They don't have a nervous system. Yes, those are secondary characteristics. That's true of sponges. That is correct. So when it comes to when we talk about evolution, okay, we're talking about Charles Darwin. We did discuss the first three observations, okay? Do you think you can name one of them? Well, the second one. Well, yeah, that's an observation, but what might it have said? Just pick one of them, maybe. We use alligators as an example, birds as an example for the first observation. And second one. Clutch size. What's true about a clutch size? Right. So, are few gametes produced or many gametes? A large amount. There's a multitude of gametes produced. Okay? Then, when it comes to the offspring, what's true about the second observation when it comes to offspring? Yeah, then not a lot of them are going to survive to, more importantly, reproduce. Then, probably the most common and probably the most important observations, the third one. Everyone could argue which one's more important than the other, but I would say the third one. Why might that be? Say that again? Yes, because there's not always going to be enough food, and there's not always going to be enough habitat to go around. So again, when you're talking about that house elephant or pygmy type or whatever, that little species, is it going to move up to the highlands right away, or might it stay down with the lush pastures with the big guys? Well, it's probably going to try to maybe get as much food as it can lower, but then once that becomes a little more, let's say, not less, scarce, thank you, a little more scarce, then they're probably going to move to the higher lands where larger elephants can't climb because they can't handle such an incline. Their bone structures just will not support that weight moving upwards. And do you have a lot of hills to march up? That's probably a dumb question. Now, did they have a track that every loop was a mile? God, it seemed to me like I thought that every lap was a mile. And maybe that's what we had too. Because you try to picture a mile on a track, in one loop, that's actually that's a lot of real estate there. So maybe it was a half a mile as well. But sprints on those laps, did you do those? You did, but you didn't. Oh, okay. The reason I bring that up, we do that for cross country practice. I call it the pyramid, where they're jogging for 30 seconds, then I have a whistle, then you're sprinting for 30 seconds, and it's 30, 60, 90, 120. Then you got to go down the backside of the pyramid. So, yeah. So all that weight you got to carry uphill, maybe like that of a larger animal. So these smaller animals are going to be more successful because they can actually make that climb. So that is where we had left off with 3 observations. I don't think we got to the inferences. So that's where we will pick up and continue. I have a paper for you, and some of you are doing an excellent job with answering the questions, but one word answers probably aren't what we're looking for. So just keep that in mind. So just like what we had mentioned, here's our first observation, talking about the gametes. The second one, excuse me, and then they're not all going to survive to reproduce. I messed that up. I was thinking this was down there. Okay, so the populations fluctuate in size. Okay, no surprise there. And then probably, like we said, the biggest one, these resources are limited. Okay, except for food and habitat. I guess examples, not except. Okay, so we begin then with our 4th observation. Okay, so even if we said we believe in evolution, that's up to you. If we took this away from animals and put this towards humans, okay, who can we pick on in here? Nobody? Well, you're kind of, that observation 4 kind of pertains to you, but, and maybe that's a good example, okay? Personality-wise, okay? Shandon and Sheldon, okay? Is this true? So, let's say, but let's say you're, let's not pick a clothing store where you're going shopping. You're at Max Hardware or something, Ace Hardware or something like that. Okay? So, Alec is walking along, I don't know, they need to get something over in Madison at 8, or Campbell Supply, any one of those, okay? We'll say Campbell Supply. So Alec, you're there with Shannon and Sheldon. I mean, you're just kind of walking along and you're talking to them and you're really not paying attention, and then you ask one of them a question and, gosh, which one of them said that? Maybe they sound alike. Maybe the one has a personality different, how one's going to answer it opposed to the other. Would you be able to tell the difference? Okay. Can you tell the difference with the voice or just how they might answer it? Or both? Okay.
Shannon be the one at the doors open, the candy section right there, that's for Shannon.
Okay. All right. But you do realize that that popcorn is only for paying customers.
Well, Alex is gonna pay.
Okay. Well, isn't that nice of you, Alec? When's the next time you're going there? I'll go with you.
Maybe later on today.
Okay. After football practice?
I think so.
Oh, well, doesn't that sound like fun? Well, we won't go into if it's just a cleaning or checkup or a procedure. It's none of my business, so.
I'm gonna take a picture of your figure.
Because I got stuff to do after school, too. I still have, was going through some old totes I have, and I found some old jackets and collared shirts that say Hurley, Marion, Cobras on there, because when the two schools co-opted football, they were the Cobras. So I'm going to have a patch made to go put over the top of that. So, yeah. So we all got things to do. So. I'm too busy today. So next time, maybe another day. I really could use a radial arm saw that not only just goes like this, but you can miter things and go at angles and pull. And if this is a nice DeWalt, it's got the stand on there too. And I just call it miter. Oh, compound. What? Doing two cuts at once.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're the tool man, huh? Okay. Well, shoot. Now I got it. You're Tim and you're Al. Okay. You assist Tim, right? All right. All right. Very good. Very good. Are you good at bossing around? Sheldon, are you good at bossing people? No? You can't do it, or you just won't? Well, the reason I bring that up is, let's say, did any of you help the elementary students, or TA, or maybe you have younger siblings that ask you for help, and it's doing a math problem, and they don't get it, and you just think, I'll just do it quick, just so I can go away. Does that sound familiar? But see, from our standpoint, you got to be careful of that, because then what do they learn? Okay, so like for instance, this material up here, that slide rule. You remember that? The bore models, the configurations, and then the quantum numbers, quantum mechanics, all that good stuff. It's where you learned about Albert Einstein's spooky action and Niels Bohr electron entanglement. Which one is it? Well, really don't know. But when you think of that beam me up or whatever, you know, when I was in college, that really isn't too far off. And I thought, my professor saying that, I thought, oh, jeez. When I heard about this in high school, about some professors are way out there, I get it now. But now when we see that video on Nova, it probably, maybe in the next 50 years, who knows? But theoretically, who wants to go travel somewhere? Okay? You want to go to, you two are the first ones that went up. You want to go to Hawaii? Hawaii? We'll just pick Hawaii. So we'll send you to Hawaii, and we disassemble you here down to the atomic level and reassemble you in Hawaii. Hopefully it goes right, because the matter that was here is now gone and ceases to exist, and hopefully the reassembling takes place. Because if it doesn't, well then, yeah, you die. That's true. That's true. But anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But the point I'm getting at is, if you remember this stuff, sometimes when maybe you people were asking questions, it's kind of like, just give me the answer so I can go away, or in class. Maybe, hopefully not on evaluation. But anyway, so here's Shannon and Sheldon. They don't talk exactly alike, okay? They differ, okay? So let's say a new staff member, and I'll even use myself as an example, but you two were seventh graders, maybe no, sixth graders probably my first year here, the fall of 2014. So we're talking 5 years ago.
We were around then because I remember you. Was it the first year you got here? You got deployed.
Yes.
I remember that.
Okay. But I was thinking, oh, I got one more year to get this down. Then they're freshmen. How am I going to tell them two apart? Because I can't tell them apart. So let's say when you two transferred here, no offense, but when you look at, how do you tell them apart?
Well, the first 3 days I had to tell.
Oh, you did.
Shannon's format.
Shannon's like just
Yeah,
facial features.
We kind of just told him all the easy ways out.
Like,
He's got the Shannon's got the scar right here, right here.
Shannon's
Oh.
got the teeth right here.
And
Okay.
then Shannon's more.
Shannon's just a little bit bigger.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So no two individuals act exactly are exactly alike. But what about, sometimes you hear about this, identical twins? I think women would probably be more mischievous with this. So since Tori's not here, I gotta pick on yourself. Okay? Let's say you had an identical twin. You send that person on dating whoever it is you might be, just to see if they can tell the difference or report back on how he's acting, or you wouldn't do that, or you wouldn't want to, or maybe you wouldn't want to know. Okay, fair enough.
No,
Fair
Shannon and Sheldon.
Okay. Okay, then finally, as we look at this, you look at observation 5, and you probably have maybe been hearing this for so many years and you hate it. This one right here. Does that sound familiar? So does that maybe, I hate it when my grandma says this, grandpa or aunt or uncle, or maybe yes, maybe no. Okay, so moving on to our last two inferences then. Okay. And I want to get through this. That leaves us with 3 slides left. Okay. Oh, sure. Then after this, it talks about speciation. We will pick up with that tomorrow. That's going to be a concept that we continually utilize or use or reference probably a lot through this year. Okay? And when it comes to speciation, it basically how different types of, again, species will pick a partner or a mate to reproduce. Okay, and the reproductive modes are going to be different because if it's a group structure, maybe you're talking about wolves, or maybe if it's a type of dance, well then it's probably birds, and then finally a third type might be when it comes to movement from one place to another, a migration pattern. We will pick up with that tomorrow, and we will finish this, and then the two chapters will be put together. That won't be till Friday, so you've got time that's set aside for Wednesday and Thursday, so just keep that in mind, and we'll make alterations for yourself. Okay. So that's how we're mapping out the rest of this week, and then next week we'll get into the Cnidarians. Yes, I will get them back to you soon. Now again, okay, some people, now whether it's not remembering to turn them in, or and if we're gone, I get that. That makes sense. Okay. But just please keep that in mind. And then, okay, we said put multiple entries in on the same page, but if you don't do that, that's fine. But if it's a notebook that's been issued to you, once you run out, you're just going to have to supply your own again. And it's daily. It's not just one at the end of the week. We do this every day because, again, what we want you to do is when you're applying for either a scholarship or a job, okay, even after you get your tech school degree, I think it was, I was thinking about maybe even part-time working at it's a rail repair place in Corson or just north of Brandon. I can't remember the name of that place. But filling out the application for that, maybe a lot of it's done on computer. But the computer's not going to write the paper for you on your application. You still have to be able to type that. Okay? In some places, they probably make you handwrite that. There's nothing worse than possibly having something that you need to do and be able to write, and you get writer's block. We call it that for a reason. And that's how this is hopefully going to help you with that. We'll continue with this again tomorrow.